me see what I can take a crack at it here.
Go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead, Brian.
So I don't have a whole lot in terms of like storyline since DC I'm less familiar with than
Just
say
outline
Marvel.
it, dude. Just
I will
outline your
say
story. This what I'm saying is while I'm leading with this DCEU construction,
Right.
we are helming the DCEU. We are
Right.
trying to, like I said, these are standalone movies, but they are connected. Mind you, they are still connected. So any movie that you make it can like no matter what the style is, it can still exist in in my Superman's universe. Or any of this panel's superhero they want to introduce into the blue screen, the big screen.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Go ahead, Brian.
So what I was thinking is like I would probably maybe like do a Batman again, but I would probably I'd probably pull a lot more from the animated series because that was probably the one there some of us are familiar with. Yeah, and it's the Batman I always grew up with, and that's where he was a hero and not just murder man, as some people like to, like Professor Geek always likes to call him. I'd also like to try to introduce Robin's origin story to it as well, so we could have like the dynamic duo of Batman and Robin at some point.
Brian, just to let you know,
great.
just the challenge is to introduce a key player to the Suicide Squad too.
Right. Let's see. Who was in like the Suicide Squad anyway? I know Harley Quinn was part of it.
Yeah,
she came in the movie. She was never part of any of the Suicide Squads until the Suicide Squad movie.
Well, let me set this straight. Set the record straight about Suicide Squad. Period. Suicide Squad is not who is part of the Suicide Squad. They're not a superhero team. There are a task force of criminals that gets randomly selected. That's why I put Mr. Mala in. We're not, founding members are usually Rick Flag, Captain Boomerang, sometimes the Riddler, or even
You know what? When we have for my Batman, why don't we have him fight the Riddler first, and then we can introduce him later, and we can bring the Riddler back for the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
and then you're bringing that up. Good call. Because we never really see the Riddler utilized too much. It's always the Joker or whoever.
Apparently in this new movie, we're finally going to get the Riddler, and I'm just like, yeah, they're going to screw him up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's duct tape, man.
Oh yeah.
But I also if you want to continue, Brian, but not to rain on a wolf, but I think also the idea of introducing Robin wouldn't be bad as well, because no one's ever really gotten Robin right except from the cartoon that you speak of, Brian.
Guys, I did mention that these superhero movies won't be an origin story for the superheroes. It can double as an origin story for the side characters,
which actually makes it perfect because it's told from the POV of these characters, so we're seeing them.
That's why I wrote Jimmy the way I did,
which makes Robin the ideal candidate.
Mm-hmm. That's why I wrote Jimmy the way I did, because it's his story. Yes, first and foremost, it's still a Superman story, but it has a story within a story.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, I was thinking like that with Robin, bringing him into the world, Batman through his eyes, and fighting the Riddler through his eyes, perhaps.
That would be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Just like in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Which could actually be interesting. I mean, do we want Robin's parents to be, connected? The death of Robin's parents. Do you want it to be connected to the Riddler, or is it just like Batman, a random crime from a bad person?
We could do either or, really, because both will be very interesting.
You have to decide, Brian. You're the one writing it.
Yeah, I think we probably decide. There's this one criminal in the comics that's normally connected to Robin's parents dying. I think we'd go with him. Maybe we could introduce him maybe in a different movie rather than the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, we could.
Well, I was thinking, what about Killer Croc?
Oh yeah,
he started off so that Killer Croc started off in a circus as a circus freak. So maybe there's here between. Killer Croc, Robin's parents, Fallout, whatever, and Croc.
It's a great idea because Croc was a circus performer before he turned to crime.
Right.
So,
that would be perfect too. Yeah.
So give us the details of how you would write Batman, Jim Gordon, Alfred.
I think at least mostly I would try to stick to the iconic versions of those characters, and we see because everybody these days is always trying to go like dark, edgy, and shit. And I want to kind of remind everybody that Batman is a hero. He's not some crazy lunatic in a cape. He's not the. He wants justice so that what happened to his parents won't happen to other people as well.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Batman is not insane. He's hyper sane. He's a lawman.
Let's start off with the tenure. How long has Batman been operating?
What would be like? What would you say about like 5 years or so, or is that too long?
Much like what I did with Superman.
That works perfectly. It coincides with Superman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll go with
I
that.
think we can name this if we were to name this a phase, it'll be 5-year phase.
That'd be a good idea.
Where every superhero was operating at the same time around 5 years.
Yes, we want our 5 years to make sense, not like another movie.
Exactly. You will not be much here. We do not say that name here. This is a safe place.
Right.
Right.
But continue, Brian. I don't want like you take the reins here. I don't want nobody raining on your parade. So
right.
Continue.
Yeah, me neither. Because I like where he's going, so I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, because I also still want Jim Gordon to still be like that upstanding member of the police force that's trying to root out the corruption, but he's just overwhelmed because there's so much of it within Gotham City. I think I'd also like to maybe
all right,
find a
so
place
we set up the tenure.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Let's not get that far in. Let's stick to Robin real quick. Just stick to Robin.
Right. Okay.
Well, you mentioned the circus
keep
and
going.
Killer.
Right. I think it would be. I'm not sure how it would get Croc in there, but perhaps it's like he and Robin would be part of like the same sort of troop that's going from like town to town, and then maybe at some point maybe Killer Croc does something that he would kill Robin's parents for some slight or another. Like Schooner, you got any ideas for that?
Oh, I got a lot of ideas, but so the idea.
This is your show, Brian.
Yeah, this is your. Yeah, I don't want to step on your toes.
Yeah.
Get them creative. Look. We can help you, but I would like for you to get your creative juices going.
Yeah,
this is your first time here. I know. I understand that, Brian. I understand this is your first time here, and I'm pretty sure you was around when we did Phase 4 of Marvel. But like I said, I want you to take step into the plate. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Give us your idea, and we can help you along. But like I said, just give us the outline. What I'm saying is, you give us the backbone, the skeleton of your Batman movie.
I will say this. I will say this. I like the fact you're keeping Batman true to his origins of a superhero and not crazy. So thank you for doing that. So that would work. So I do like the world you're starting to mold already. Yeah. And so you're off to a good start right there. That's really it's the foundation. The foundation is good right there.
So you know what? I will help you out a little bit. So you got that. So where you're going with as far as outline to check out the list real quick. Yeah. You got Batman as his iconic animated series Batman. You're pulling some inspiration from that. You got the iconic Alfred. You got the iconic Jim Gordon all in place. Yeah. Your main villain, it seems like it's supposed to be the Riddler, but you have Killer Croc. Now the question is he connected to Riddler in any way?
You know, I might have overstepped that, and let me rethink that a little bit. Maybe this time, maybe it won't be the Riddler this time. Maybe it'll be Killer Croc, and then he goes, like you said, like he does. So the backbone of it is that Robin would eventually want to have a Killer, want to get revenge on Killer Croc for his.
I'll help you out here.
Yeah. For his,
I'll help you out. So he can be formerly a circus performer, but he turned to crime as a kingpin. But the Graysons would not take their the Flying Graysons along with the circus troupe would not take his corruption money, right? So the Graysons were like the let's just say this: the Graysons were the huge attraction for the circus.
Here's an idea.
And he hires a goon.
Yeah, there's a goon to take
Borrowed
him.
from Robin's reckoning, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear Schooner's idea?
Scooter, go right ahead.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut in. The idea is Killer Croc was with the troop, but he's on thin ice with the ringleader because whenever they go to these various towns, Killer Croc usually throws in with these rough gangs and stuff like that. You know, selling his services as a big muscle guy. You know, and we could even say that he's got a bit of a soft spot for Dick Grayson. That Dick says, you know, you can always be, you know, I don't believe what they say about you, calls him by his name and says that, you know, you can be a good person. And he says, you know, and he tells him, you know, you shouldn't trust somebody so openly, kid. Okay. Because sometimes people just can't fight what they are.
Exactly. That's a great point.
That's gorgeous.
And when it comes, go ahead, Brian.
But hang on.
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Yeah, Croc is a dirty. Because remember, Croc is a pretty dirty person. Like he'll do anything, you know.
Yeah.
Like he's.
So fast forward. The Graysons, the Flying Graysons are no more. Sorry. Can you guys hear me? Am I roboting anywhere? Because my connection is kind of screwy right now. I just want to make
sure. You're roboting a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I hear it too. Here too.
Okay, just make it. Yeah, it's being weird. It's being weird.
Now you sound.
Probably close
fine.
down a few tabs.
Okay.
Yeah, I get happy when I close down a tab.
I was just going to say real quick, Brian, I'm going to let you continue. Schooner, I like Schooner's idea, and I like the idea of Dick, I guess, believing in Croc or telling Croc that, because the tragedy is that Croc is going to have some play. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but was he going to have some play in the demise of the Graysons? And Dick had trusted this guy, had some sort of faith or trust in Croc. At first, I thought Croc maybe ripping them off. Or maybe Croc could also be a little envious that the Graysons are beloved, and he's kind of see the crowd treats him like a freak or something. So his revenge factor. So
welcome.
The tragedy is that Croc is I'm assuming going to have a play in the demise of the Graysons, much to the to the horror of Dick Grayson.
Later on, we'll name our movie projects. By the way, so be ready for that one.
Yeah, so it's basically a story of betrayal right there, like family and betrayal there. I guess I know a little bit about it, having some of my own family members that kind of pull some wool over my eyes. I don't want to really get too far into it, but that would be something I would pull from from my own experiences with like my mom lying about my dad. And here you go, you got Croc pretending that he's Robin's friend, and then he goes and kills his family, and then years later, let's say Robin is trying to find Croc on his own to get revenge, but then it doesn't go too well because Croc is so much stronger than he is, and enter Batman, who comes in and makes a save for Robin before he really pretty much.
Can I float an idea? Because you said you wanted to work.
Right ahead.
You said you wanted to work Riddler into this. So the idea would be is that what if Riddler approaches Killer Croc saying that he needs to hide some illegal things within the circus, and he's heard of Croc from various other criminal networks that, whenever the circus isn't, it's the perfect cover, he tells them. The circus is here, you do your illegal
Played by
activity.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yep.
Yeah.
As the
That's a
Riddler?
good idea, actually.
Jesse Eisenberg as the Riddler?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Well, I'll be quiet on that.
Or what about Jim Parsons?
Well,
That
Who's
might
gonna
be
do it? They gotta be able to be subtle with the Riddler because Riddler's
Rowan Atkins.
Oh yeah, we can't do like a Jim Carrey Riddler because that guy is just way over the top
right.
for it.
Yeah, we don't want that. Right.
That's why I said Rowan Atkins.
Yeah, that's a name I've heard floated about, so that would be a good idea.
He was he's Mr. Bean.
Yes,
Yeah,
I was
right.
saying yes. Because the Riddler is
Black Adder.
intelligence with the idea of the Riddler is that he's in love with his own intelligence. He feels that that's why he likes to
ego.
cast the riddles. His ego.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
all the villains do not like Riddler.
Right.
Nope. You never know what the guy's got up his sleeve. He's sneaky. He comes up like sneaky, subtle. You always got something back there,
Exactly. So the idea that I was saying is that he says to Killer Croc, I've heard about you and, your illegal activities and how it's the perfect cover, and I have need of your grotesque services.
That works. Works for me. I'll run with it.
The Flying Graysons discover this, report him to the ringmaster, and Croc is basically, they throw him out. They basically say, you're done. We don't want you around here. Bring in your bad, you're not part of this family. And they throw him out.
They give him the Vince McMahon, you're fired kind of treatment.
It'll be Black Mass
I
that do
couldn't
that.
resist.
Yeah. And Croc could basically, say that, he'll get his revenge.
If DC will allow it, that would be Black Mass. I'll kick him out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his maybe part of the deal with Riddler when Riddler has to, because he has to because remember, like you said, Riddler's ego, he feels it's higher. Maybe Riddler strikes the deal that you do this for me, I'll get you what you want most, which is your revenge on the Graysons.
Oh yeah.
And that's all
Sure
those
enough,
two stuff.
he gets it all right. Like maybe you say like during the performance, he say that Croc sabotages the rope for the trapeze, like in the stories, and that falls as Robin sees him in the darkness, but then Croc gets away before he can do anything about it.
Oh, that would actually be, that would actually be perfect too. That would be perfect.
Push pause. How old Robin is going to be in this movie?
Then
you say he's going to pursue Croc, right?
Yeah, maybe he's like maybe 15 at the time of his parents' murder, and then maybe we fast forward like another, maybe he's a few years older when he finally meets Batman.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay,
that
can I
would be
tell?
actually an interesting idea, because in the comic books and in the story, Robin was very young when he got indoctrinated into being the sidekick. Effectively, he is the first sidekick.
Indoctrinated.
I know. I used the Young Justice line, indoctrinated, but it was a battle he chose.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of like that timeline, Brian, because I've got to go back to it. No, people don't want to, but I got to go back to, not Batman Returns, but the one with Chris O'Donnell in the Jim Carrey one.
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever.
I when you're describing Robin, I'm thinking that type of Robin, because in that film he does try to thwart. It's Two-Face, but when he gets back, the deed has already been done. So I'm thinking that's what I'm kind of thinking on your wavelength, that he's old enough to try to stop him, but he's still kind of a teenager. So when we jump forward, he's still
reckless and he's impetuous, so he doesn't really know what he's doing. And then when he finally does get at
played
Croc,
by Hayden Christensen,
it goes pretty much the same way as like X versus Vile in Mega Man X, where he's just like he gets overwhelmed, and then of course our real hero Batman has to come in and bail him out.
I like it.
here's an idea too. It's that because you said Batman has been operating for 5 years.
Right.
What if this actually that whole thing of the death of his parents was a flashback, and then we finally got him 14, 15 years old, and he's now living with Bruce Wayne, and now he's finally using what Bruce Wayne had taught him to finally go and find Croc.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah. That's great. It's a great idea.
I like
I'm down
that.
for that.
Yeah. And
I don't mean to rain on Brian's parade real quick, but try to get enough of it in the next 20 minutes before we move on to someone to our next person.
Yeah. Just I am having a bit of trouble thinking of it. It's the first time I've tried anything like this.
you're doing great so far.
You're doing good, so
Yeah.
doing really good.
I want to see this Batman movie.
Yeah.
You're doing better than any. Again, you're doing better than any. Than the new Batman movie they're working on now with Patterson. Yours actually sounds a whole lot better.
Yeah. So now just thinking about how do we get to the thing. What I'm thinking about is how do we get from the middle to the end here? Because we know he's. So now I guess
the middle is in the details. I just want you to plot out how you're gonna begin it. Who's going? What's the? If there's any themes, what will be? Excuse me. If there is a theme, what will be the theme here? If there is one, what is Robin's origin play into this? Like I said with Jimmy, he's like the hopeful new beginning of new transcenders, whereas he's been uplifted by the experience, which is Lois and Clark and of course Superman himself. Like I said, we want to establish who is to do Ragnus's origin in each of our movies because we already have superheroes established. Batman's already established. No origin story for Batman. No origin story for Superman. And I'm pretty sure Leia's got something in store for us when we come up on her superhero. I'm not gonna say what it is. Shit, that's on her. But where I'm going with this is that what is Robin's origin story? If there's a theme, what is the theme?
Right.
And how would you conclude it? We're not going to do. And sorry, by the way, we're not doing no extra credit scene.
Right.
So
I guess.
Go. Yeah, fire away.
So I guess the way I would conclude is I would have them at Batman and Robin at some point confront Croc and the Riddler at some point, or alternately, Batman and Robin are just fighting the Croc, and then Riddler is just pulling the strings behind the scenes, and then he still gets away at the end to be eventually just join the Suicide Squad at some point in a later film.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
Before we move on, what will be the relationship between Robin, Jim, Alfred would be like? Or at least we're talking about the Man in the Mask, right? So what is Bruce's relationship to Robin? What is Batman's relationship to Robin? What is Jim's relationship to Robin? Because remember, parents died, police. Right. So Jim has to be there at some point, right?
Right, because he took him into custody to keep him from getting him
protective custody. Yeah.
Right.
So, and what would be his relationship with Alfred at that point?
They would all follow a similar theme of like mentorship. There, like no, we know Batman and Robin. It's obvious.
Mm-hmm. Father, son, or brothers.
Yeah, something. I think Alfred would probably be like the grandpa in this because he's older than Bruce.
I also that would actually work too because isn't it Alfred who kind of pushes Bruce to get closer to Dick?
Yes, exactly. And then I think about how Jim Gordon would be. I guess Jim Gordon would be like the protector in that whole thing because of the whole protective custody first.
I like that.
Okay, who else want to? Let's recap. So far we established Superman is in this universe. He has taken out the Ultrahumanite. Batman has taken on a new ward, and he has dealt with Croc and the Riddler, or at least if Brian so chooses, dealt with Riddler too.
Yes.
So they have to connect in some way, but we don't have to go into complete details about that.